G'day. I've played a fair few games in my time, and Hitman Blood Money still sits very comfortably within my top games list. Personally, I have nothing but high praise for it. Even if I were to critique it objectively, I would still give it nothing but high praise. The series as a whole does stealth like no other. I remember explaining to a mate in 2006 who was curious about the game that it's a public stealth game. It's the best description I had for it, as opposed to the regular stealth games we were used to like Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid. The closest I've seen to this public stealth system being used in other games has been the Death to Spies game, Alekine's Gun, and Assassin's Creed to a very limited extent. It seemed like it was going to be leaning into its own public stealth system, but it never amounted to anything more than sitting on a bench or blending in with a group of NPCs. Damn shame really, because the series became no different to other stealth games, given how it turned into memorizing guard routes and just crouching behind cover or tall grass, and that was it. Some other games let you explore public areas where your missions and targets might hang around and let you stealth around them like Dishonored or Deus Ex, but Hitman remains the only series where you can potentially walk in full view of other enemies and even your own targets without any alarms being raised or shots being fired. In Blood Money specifically, there is a mission called A New Life. To this day, it remains one of my most favourite levels in any game I've ever played. Blood Money was already impressing me with its unique gameplay system, level design, and the multiple ways you can take out your targets. Then comes this rather peaceful and downright beautiful level. A small suburban street in a gated community, a garage, a backyard with a great view, and a mansion full of rooms to walk around in. Although to be fair, the rooms are mostly empty and don't serve much of a purpose. The game already affords players the opportunity to scope out potential ways to infiltrate an area or kill their targets with little to no interruptions from other NPCs. Some areas might be closed off in your regular outfit, but chuck the right disguise on and the whole level becomes fully accessible and can be explored in your own time. This aspect of the gameplay became so much more engrossing when I could do it in a small neighbourhood. Walking around freely on a sunny day invoked feelings of nostalgia for me. It made me think of my own Christmas holidays and weekends when I was a kid and would explore my own neighbourhoods and visit mates' houses. There was definitely less bold men gunning people down, but that's just my experience with Suburbia. I've never played a level in any game more than A New Life. I might nearly have more playthroughs of that level alone than I have attempts at the hardest bosses in the Soulsborne series. It was hard to imagine any game topping my enjoyment with it, but then along comes Hitman 2. Hitman 2 2, the second game to be called Hitman 2. Mission 5 in Hitman 2 is a callback to this mission from Blood Money. Even the name leans so hard into the nostalgia, it's called Another Life. But my god, it built upon that foundation in such beautiful ways. Like others, I find nostalgia can be a welcoming feeling, but it can also bring about sadness due to that yearning for what once was. But Whittleton Creek reminds us of the old, whilst expanding with the new, and even improves as long as you don't let the rose-tinted glasses cloud your view. It's another suburban neighbourhood during the day, but now the sights are prettier than ever. There's some sort of party going on, but it's now filled with more NPCs and some of them have little stories of their own. Houses are accessible, but instead of one complete house, it's now multiple houses with many different interactable items within. Even the empty house has its own use.
No, you're not getting in here.
Mr. Cassidy, I'm sorry for the delay. I'm ready to take you to the house. The kitchen, gas stove, vinyl floors, which can be quite slippery when wet. Along with the bathroom, the kitchen is the most dangerous room in the home.
Yeah, that's not gonna make me buy this place. Let's move on.
This level invokes those feelings of old, but it never feels cheap. It doesn't feel like a retread of a prior level that's preying on our nostalgia. It's a genuinely terrific level, just like the rest within this reboot trilogy. Not you. And it feels like a love letter to A New Life. The devs even said as much in the NoClip doco, which I highly recommend watching. It's really fucking good. The core gameplay doesn't suffer in order to appease the past feelings of players who are familiar with Blood Money, and that's where the nostalgia evolves past just mere remembrance of something old and becomes an homage that expands upon its inspiration. Which is something you could say about this trilogy overall. It took the old and then just expanded on it and gave us new things that we hadn't seen before. Very telling that over 12 years after first playing a New Life, it would take not only another Hitman level, but a Hitman level inspired by a New Life itself to take the spot as my most favourite level of all time. Whilst I was randomly reflecting on my enjoyment of a New Life, I started thinking about nostalgia as a feeling in general and as an experience. So I figured, fuck it, why not take the opportunity to share a favourite level of mine from one of my favourite series of games and share a little bit of my own philosophy. I think nostalgia should be used sparingly for other aspects in life, whether it be the writing of a piece of music or the development of a story or character. Mentally, it's easy to become lost in your own thoughts and wishes for something old that you can't have anymore. You have to remember to be realistic at times and realize that on your journey through life, it's always moving forward. No matter how much better a previous day may have been, you can't just waste your time trying to relive it. It doesn't bring about any form of progression. And so creatively, if you fall to that, it becomes a hindrance to your craft. Rehashing can encourage stagnation. Stagnate for too long and you might become too comfortable and lose that creative spark. In a gaming specific sense, once that creative spark is gone, you run the risk of players not even wanting to see what your game has to offer, or they might see a game as nothing special, just a by the numbers entry that doesn't do anything different. In saying that out loud though, I'm forced to confront the fact that by the numbers experiences are kind of what audiences are usually after, gaming or otherwise. But I can't imagine them being the most impactful or fondly remembered. Past experiences help shape your present thoughts and philosophies. Using a mixture of those along with inspiration from others instead of leaning into one or two already established ideas as your only offering is how something new is created. Be the creative force that inspires others, rather than the example of wasted potential. Until the next video, have a good one.